Hey Crusaders, in today's video, I'm going to review the Big 5 Overland antenna. Hey Crusaders, so today I'm going to review the Big 5 Overland antennas. Now, I purchased the 30-inch Big 5 Overland SIMBA, which is the R30T antenna. It has a 5.5 dBi, and this is their second generation. It's 30 inches from the base to the top of the mast. I have to tell you that these things are built for extreme durability. And with the durability, they come with some excellent signal. One of the rides I was on, this Big 5 Overland SIMBA was knocking tree limbs out of the way. Tree limbs that are bigger than the diameter of this. Of this antenna. If you notice, it has an 8mm spring attached to it, which is beefy as all get out. I don't know if the antenna would have survived the abuse I was giving it with the tight trails if it wasn't for this 8mm spring attached to it. Now, they have come out with a new 90-degree angle mount. So my antenna is actually mounted to the tabs, the factory tabs on my ARB bumper. But they now have that 90-degree angle mount, which if it's not in use, you can put your antenna down, or if you're using it, you can put your antenna up. So that's a new option, which I don't currently have. Okay, Crusaders, here's what's included with the purchase of the Big 5 Overland 30-inch SIMBA model R30T. The kit includes the mast, which is on the 8mm spring with the 5mm RG58 cable and the SMA female connector. It also includes this L bracket, which has a cutout for the base of your antenna, and it also has these round tie downs, which you can mount it to a roll bar if you have a roll bar or brush bar or what have you. With this mount, depending on how you configure it, you can mount it in a variety of ways. You can mount it facing out like this, putting back, just a different variation of ways. So that's what's included with the Big 5 Overland 30-inch R30T SIMBA antenna. The nice thing about the cable is, with the connector being installed afterwards, it's easier to route the wire through the firewall, through door jams, whatever. So you don't have to worry about if you have to drill a hole, you have to drill a big hole. I personally just ran it up through my fender well, and then I ran it around the A-pillar into the cab, and then worked it through the trim, and then all the way over to where my radio is mounted inside. These antennas are tuned GMRS frequency. I know, I stuttered. It's a lot to say. GMRS frequency. The signal strength on this is quite impressive. A couple weeks ago, when I met up for coordinates and coffee out in the Ocala National Forest, we had 3 vehicles that got separated from the rest of us. And from the sound of it, they were approximately a mile away on a different trail in the forest. And I was able to pick them up as if they were sitting right next door to me. Super clear. Another situation. Coming home from my buddy's office the other day, we turned our radios on. My radio is currently a Radiodity. I believe it's a 25. So I'm able to push a little more power than my friend's Radiodity. That's just the brand off Amazon, and those radios have worked well for us. And they've been pairing up excellently with the Big 5 Overland antenna. We went separate roads, and I was able to hear my friend talking on the radio, and he has a little stubby antenna, and we weren't, say, a quarter mile away from each other, and he couldn't hear me for some reason. His antenna was not receiving me, but I could receive him as if it was clear as day. Once we got onto a similar parallel on the roadway, he started getting better reception on his end because his radio or his antenna wasn't as powerful as my radio and antenna. The whole time we were traveling, I heard him, but it's like he just couldn't hear me. So I chalked that up to his antenna, because his antenna might be about this tall, and his antenna is designed for more enclosed wooded areas, not necessarily for distance. The support I've received so far from this company has been stellar. On a trail ride, it's the same trail ride that this antenna was pushing branches out of my way. Somehow the RMA connector broke. Don't know why. But when I discovered that it was broken, I sent Big 5 Overland a message with a picture and asked if this is what is supposed to happen. And they said absolutely not. They already had my information. They already had my address. And they informed me that I would have another connector the next day. The next day, I didn't only have one connector, I had 2 connectors. So that's how excellent their customer service was, which I appreciated. So what I'm going to do is, instead of talking the whole time, I'm going to show you how this is installed, how I personally ran the wiring, and then the connector that goes on the 5mm cable, which then screws into the back of the radio. Okay, so here's the factory tabs from ARB, and here is the connection underneath. All right, in the kit, see if I can get it there you go, right here. In the kit, it comes with a adapter so you can actually screw this on tight. For me, I had to drill out the hole on the bracket a little bit so the mask could go through it. And then I just ran the wire through the grill, up through the inner firewall, and then I kept working it past the diff breathers, under the fender, and then down past the snorkel. into the A-pillar area. From here, I just brought it in and then brought it down here. I have not experienced any leaking so far from any rain or water. And then I just brought it around, down past everything, zipped it up, brought it up through the trim, and then here's the connection. All right, so here's the 5mm cable, which is the RG58 cable. Okay, up to right here, it's all threaded. What I did here was, after I replaced the SMA connector, I went ahead and put a little shrink wrap on here just for a little extra protection. My glove box does come down and open, but it doesn't hit it. So just in case anybody hits it or what have you. So here is the radio I use. It's a Radiodity. It's a DB25G. All right, so it's the DB25. All right, here is the SMA connector that screws into the back of the radio, right? It has the swivel right here, and then it's threaded. Try and get it focused in. All right, there we go. It's threaded, so that'll thread to the 5mm RG58 cable. That makes it super simple. So you're only looking, if you're to go through the firewall or somewhere, that's the diameter. You're only looking 5mm. So it makes it super simple to route it. For some reason, this is the piece right here that broke. It could just be a fluke with the manufacturer. But since then, I have not had any issues with the new ones they sent me. And like I said, I contacted them, and the next day I had 2 of these in the mail. Not in the mail, but arriving at my house. So that's the customer service that they supply. Prior to doing this video, I reached out to the guys at Big 5 Overland and just informed them that I was going to do a review on the antenna. And they were very excited and receptive to having their antenna reviewed. Some information they gave me is the 43-inch antenna has been reported to them that they have received signal up to 12 miles. And the 22-inch, which is the next size down from this, has received signal up to 3/4 of a mile. But what they also said was those were from 50-watt radios. So my radio is a 25-watt radio. So you could probably say that this should be able to get somewhere in the ballpark of 6 miles or less, which is still a fair amount of distance. If you're trail riding, I hope you're not 6 miles apart. But if you happen to be silly enough to go out by yourself and you need to broadcast, if you are in the high ground, that 6 miles is going to be important to you to try and get out some signal. So recap, I have the 30-inch SIMBA, which is the R30T model. It has 5.5 dBi, and this is their 2nd generation. They are built for durability. They are built for clear signal, and I can attest to that. So that's the affiliate that I have with them. And other than the fact that they have been an excellent company so far, in my opinion, especially with their customer service and the quality of the build of the antenna. Nothing says that you can't contact Big 5 Overland and say, hey guys, I watched the Adventure Crusaders video on the Big 5 Overland antenna. And I'm wondering if maybe I might be able to get a discount or a discount code for the purchase of the antenna. The worst case scenario is they say no, right? If you're planning on buying one anyways, it might be 10%. But 10% or not, I was more than willing to pay full price for this, along with shipping. So it doesn't hurt to ask. But like I said, I don't have a promo code. But what I will do in the description, I will put their website. They're also on Instagram. I think they're on Facebook. I know they have other people that have done videos on YouTube, possibly. They go to, I know they are at the SAVE, or some people call it SAVE Expo, which is Southeast Adventure Vehicle Expo. They were there. I believe they went to one of the expos up in Tennessee or possibly South Carolina or North Carolina, one of those. So they're out there. They're American made. Okay. A USA company making these in the USA. And that's always a plus for me. So, Crusaders, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure if you're interested in these antennas, go to big5overland.com, and that's big, spell out 5, overland.com, and then see what they have to offer. I am extremely pleased that I purchased one of these. So hopefully if you purchase one, you'll be pleased also. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. And as always, God bless, and I hope to see you on your own adventure.